Yes, guys, we're live. It's SFeatleyTV. We're back with the Arsenal gossip column. Let's do this.
Already, chance, Balotelli, Aguero! Premier League champions 2016, Leicester City!
Hope to see you soon. Well done. Bye-bye.
Fischer, Gazzola, Giroud again, Joe Wilson! Here's Gerrard. That's a great strike! McCracken getting closer. To the centre. It's Bergkamp. That's magnificent. Van Persie arriving. Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Robin Van Persie!
Yes, guys, we're back with another Arsenal gossip column. We're going to be talk about the latest news this week as we build up to the Europa League game as well. Manny, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, good, son. All good. Can't really complain. Had a good dinner and I'm happy.
Yeah, man. Like same here. Like nice dinner, chilling for the evening. Luca, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I had a good day today. I'm all good. Thanks for having me on.
Right, so let's get into it. First off, I'm going to have to start with, I'm just going to bring it up actually, because typical me, I forget what I said on the thumbnail. Arsenal's last two performances struggled at Bodo Glimt, and we also struggled against Leeds. I think Leeds probably deserved to even win the game. In that instance, and if it were VAR, they would have got a point, or even maybe more than that. But in the end, we've done what title-winning teams do, which is grind out a result and grind out 3 points. Which, in the end, to me, as much as the performances were not good, that still impresses me that we had the mentality to be able to go and deal with the fact we weren't playing well and still end up winning that game. So I'll start with you, Manny. What did you make of the last two performances, and are you impressed with how Arsenal managed to still get 3 points out of them?
When you say the last three performances, you mean Leeds, Bodo Glimt, I mean both those games, or?
Yeah, the last two. Yeah, Bodo Glimt and Leeds, because we weren't playing well in those games.
It's hard to say. I mean, I'm reminded in many ways of a quote from a famous tennis player, Alexis Sanchez Vicario, who, as much as she would be willing to accept that her opponents played well, her enduring final quote was, "My opponent didn't win the match, I lost it." And I take a look at some of the, the chances that were missed by the teams in question, and I'm tempted to say, if those chances should have been put away. And I mean, you take the Bodo Glimt game, for instance. They had about 2 or 3 chances later on in the game to, get an equalizer in the Norwegian Arctic, and they couldn't do so. We held on. I suppose we did our bit, but in addition, the way our defense was carved up on occasions during that game, we could very easily have equalized. Yeah. Now, if we had been dominated by Bodo Glimt, I mean, if their midfield had been absolutely dominant, and we had scored a decent goal, because even Saka's goal in that Norwegian game was also quite lucky. It took a deflection, went in off his face and into the net, I believe. So there was an element of luck to that. You could say we ground out the win, and you could say that we earned 3 points. I mean, it is easy to say, I don't care how we win, as long as we win. And yes, that is perhaps true, but it also is the measure of good teams to say, you know what? as much as we've gotten the win, we also need to acknowledge that we were lucky and we cannot rest on our laurels. So I'm a little bit uncomfortable with saying champion teams, grind out wins. Champion teams may perhaps get wins of the ground out, but also have the ability to look inside themselves and realize we've got to perform better. And now we're coming up against a PSV team who will be firing on all cylinders. And now we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what? We owe ourselves and our players a better performance. So we can be satisfied with the win, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable saying, champions grind out these wins,
Yeah,
because we can't really say that.
no. When I meant that is that I'm not saying that title-winning teams don't consider about how they that they need to play better. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, like Man City, if they perform one game, they go out in the next game and actually demolish a team. Right? So I don't think Arsenal are just going to sit there and say, "Oh, but we won the game anyway." I don't think that at all. I think Arteta will be saying, I think Arteta will be saying on that training pitch, that wasn't good enough, and you can do so much better than that. Luca, I mean,
If he says that, I credit him. If he says that, I credit him.
Yeah, I think he's not going to say that in public, though. I think he's probably going to say that to the players in private, right, and not sort of call out any of the players or anything like that, because I don't think that's his style. I don't see Arteta do that once. So, Luca, I mean, how do you see it? Because, like I said, is that though we've not played well in these games, we've gone out 3 points, and we're still top of the group in Europa League, and we're still top of the league, and now we're 4 points clear.
Yeah, for me, in those 3 games, look, we'll go back to the first game when we played Bodø Glimt last Thursday. I thought that game, we played very well in that game. And for me, the only issue I had in that game, but you can't really criticise it because we got away with it, was Arteta brought the likes of Jesus and all them lot on when Fabio Vieira scored from Jesus. That was my only critical with Arteta, because we had a game against Leeds on the weekend. But for me, no, it was a good performance in that game. There was times Matt Turner kept us in it, and Matt Turner's played well in both of those ties.
Exactly.
And for me, going into
you, the person who called him out before he even turned up.
I did, but I won't go into too much detail throughout the game. But I'll expand it down for the second game when we played Bodø Glimt. Turner was good in that game. He was good in that game because that game away from home last Thursday, we were poor in that game.
It wasn't easy. We had a very hostile atmosphere there as well, a different artificial pitch. But yeah, it wasn't easy.
But also, Matt Turner played very well. He was really the outstanding player on the pitch, and he played. Look, I'm not his biggest fan, but however, you can't criticise him when he's playing very well, and that's the thing.
But then that's also, if the keeper's the best player on the pitch, that also highlights how the performance has been.
Well, it has, because for me, it highlights out how the keepers kept you in it, because they kept you a clean sheet. Because I remember towards the end of the game, there was a moment where Matt Turner nearly lost the ball when he tried to punch it out, and defenders were thinking, what the hell are we going to do? And then Matt Turner came to the rescue and come in. And that was good by Matt Turner. He played very well. But onto the Leeds game, my God. Lots of controversial drama, but luckily enough, we got the victory, and that's all that matters, 3 points. But for me, look, when you say about that game, Leeds United, I just thought, first half, we were all right, we got the goal, right? Saka got the goal, it was very good. And then second half was a completely different story. Leeds United, we made Leeds United turn into the prime Barcelona. Leeds United were very, very good.
I wouldn't go that far, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't go that far. But we didn't make them look like they're struggling at the bottom of the league.
Well, yeah,
let's say made a mid-table team. Let's probably say that's probably around 10th, something like that.
Yeah, around 10th place, which sounds about right. But for me, we were poor in that game. Gabriel, I've started to realise now, and I realised this over the Bodø Glimt game.
I've heard this of the last month, mate.
Gabriel needs to be dropped. But however, I think it's a bit too harsh to get rid of him. because for me, he will be good enough to squad depth, right? And we probably do need another centre half in future transfer window, but for now we're okay with defence because we've got the second best defence in the Premier League at this moment of time. So for me, I'm looking at Gabriel's been poor recently. Like you play Ben White back into his normal centre half position, and then you end up playing Tomiyasu at right back, and you play Tierney at left back. If Zinchenko still 100% is not fit for the game, so Saliba for me, I thought he was poor in that game. This wasn't his best because he played on Thursday night in Norway, which understands that Saliba. Look, you could still play well, whether you're tired of playing so many games. Like that doesn't give you a complex reason why that whether Saliba did play well or not play well. But Saliba was poor on Thursday on Sunday against Leeds United because a lot of referees, a lot of VARs, like Saliba for me, clumsy decision to give a penalty away, should have done better. And luckily enough, Bamford put it wide. And for me, if you give the ball to Patrick Bamford on his day, he will score goals. And whether it doesn't matter how long he's had so much injuries, he still will put on his day. He will punish you. And Leeds have got players to do that. Leeds are one of the fastest teams that will keep the ball quite some long term in the middle of the game. So and we lucky enough we managed to keep a clean sheet.
Not compared to other teams in the league. I wouldn't say that.
Well,
Compared to other teams in the league, I wouldn't say so.
well,
I get
the
your point.
thing is, but I understand in that game we rode our luck a little bit. Gabriel needs to be dropped. He needs to be dropped, and we've got a massive important game tomorrow, right? We win this game, we're qualified for the knockout stage. So Gabriel, for me, I wouldn't play him tomorrow. I drop him, and we touched on this last night on your PSV preview, right? Gabriel for me needs to be dropped. I play centre half. I play Ben White. I put Ben White back in his centre back position. But I've got a question to ask before we do move on. I know Ben White has played well at right back. Do you think that has like a distraction of him playing as centre back, despite he has played at right back, or not really because he's played as the centre back in the past?
I think he's done well in his position as right back, but then needs must. If you've got a defender that's not performing, then he has to be shifted back into his centre back role. It's finding the best partnership between him and Saliba. Saliba knows he's going to be there pretty much 100%, right, unless he's injured. So it's trying to find the best partner for him, and I don't think we haven't got someone on his level. I'd say Ben White's been good. He's been good this. He's been good this season, but I don't think he's going to be ever on Saliba's level. But if Ben White's been doing, his performances have been good compared to Gabriel's, and because of that, he's going to have more confidence to be able to fit in that centre back role, and being confident will mean less mistakes. You feel control of what you're doing. So that's why I've always said, and I said for the last month, Gabriel needs to be dropped. And the reason being, for me, is I don't think it's not so much a how do I put this? A performance issue. Like for me, I know he's making mistakes. I think it's the fact he's getting used to the fact he knows he's going to get picked every week, and he's probably taking it for granted. So dropping him and shifting Ben White as centre back and putting Tommy at a right back might give him a fucking wake up call, right? Because when he got sent off, when he's shown that red card, half of me was like, yeah, good, get off, good. I hope so. That way, we'd have to play Ben White at centre back and Tommy as right back, because I didn't think Arteta was going to make that move. Now we'll find out in the Premier League, our next Premier League game, whether he does. I think the PSV game is going to be a different kettle of fish. So he may try something different. But in terms of the Premier League, he needs to change it up, because there's only so much you can get away with, and we've been getting away with far too many mistakes from Gabriel, Like, I've only seen Saliba make probably one mistake, and that one mistake is because probably Ben White wasn't covering his man, so he's like, okay, which one do I go? Do I go back and defend the guy I'm supposed to defend and mark up, or do I go to him because Ben White's not doing his job, and he gets caught in the middle of no man's land, right? That was the only mistake I've probably seen him do, and half of that wasn't even his fault. So that, yeah. So, but look, I mean, moving on to, like, obviously, as we said, like, despite the performances, we're 4 points clear, right? And if I'm not mistaken, if I look at the table, we'll bring the table up actually, because, like, I'm going to be doing this for ages, and I know, Manny, you're probably going to get pissed off with me because I'm gloating, like, but I'm taking this time and this moment, right, because I know it's not going to last. I'm going to take this moment to gloat, right, because I ain't seen it happen for 15 fucking years, right, for a very long time.
Hey, you can
And
gloat
that
as
is,
much as you want. No issue. You can gloat. I'm happy.
yeah, man. Look, I know we're not gonna last, like, up there, but look, I'm gonna gloat anyway. Right. So, as I was saying, share a screen. To the anyone who hasn't lived under a rock recently, or has lived under a rock, Arsenal are 4 points clear of Manchester City, 9 wins, 1 defeat, right? 10 goals conceded, 24 scored, a goal difference of 14, which is not bad, right? And yeah, and just on a completely God-given run in a minute, right? If we win against PSV, I think it'd be our 8th straight game in all comps where we've won. So yeah, I just love it. Beautiful. I'm just going to take that there. I know it's not going to last, but I'm going to take that. Right.
Well, come on,
What was it? What expression said? Save this. Save this, fam. Save this. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Like I said, it's ain't going to last anyway, but we're 4 points clear. Whoop. Sorry. So, I want to ask, Arsenal's start to the season, last time someone had this start to a season, they went on to win the title. Right? That's not me saying that we're going to, that's just me stating a fact. Would another manager, right now, would another manager will do better than what Arteta is doing right now? And I'm going to, yeah, we are having this debate, right? And I'm going to ask Manny, would you think another manager could better what we're doing right now? And Anthony, I'm going to send you a link right now as well. I'm going to send it on WhatsApp, mate.
In terms of results, probably not.
Exactly. I at the minute, as much as I'm Arteta out, I won't want to get rid of him in a minute. I don't think Pep could do a better job right now. I don't think Klopp. And that's not me saying Arteta's better than Klopp before anyone starts twisting what I'm saying, right? Because I know what YouTube's like, right? That's not me saying that like Pep's better. Pep's miles better, right? As a manager, not gonna deny that. But at the moment, with the squad we've got, I don't think any manager right now in world football right now, right, can better what Arteta's managed to achieve so far with this squad, right? Luca, what do you think?
No, we had this debate off air yesterday, and let's just hope it doesn't turn into a bit of a carnage, people, right? Because people do love the arguments. But no, anyway, look, I think
I don't. It pushes my blood pressure off to the roof.
it presses my rants. But no, anyway, no, I think, look, with Arteta, Arteta's done very, very, very well at this moment of time, right? Yes, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's doing very well at the moment. You can't criticise him. Who expected us to get 9 wins out of 10 at the start of the season? I would have bite your hand off if that would have happened. So for me, look, I can understand, where you're coming from saying that Pep Guardiola is the better manager than Arteta. Well, he is. because Pep has won everything in his CV. But at this moment of time, you still got to say Pep Guardiola has done better. Because yes, we are 4 points clear at the moment. But what I'm saying is that Man City are obviously going to chase us up. We're not going to be lasting there that long. We ain't going to beat Man City to a league title. We know that because
Not at the moment, we're not.
No, because Man City are 5 years above us. So
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say 2.
2 years. I don't
2
think
years.
2 years. I don't think 2 years. I think 2
Why
years.
not? Well, I mean, look at what we're achieving right now.
For the moment, it's only 10 games in.
I know, but look,
we're not in a title race. We're not in a title
I'm not
race.
saying we're in a title race. I didn't say that. I just said in 2 years, right, with the amount of money we spent as well, right, nearly 400 mil, I would expect us to be in a title race by then.
Yeah, but the
because
thing
we'll be able to, because next year is to consolidate being in the Champions League, right, and repeat the process, right, and maintaining it whilst getting the players we need to go and then challenge for the league.
And that's what we need to do. And at this moment of time, for me, the way I look at it right now, we ain't winning no title this season. You know that. Manny knows that, right? The comments know about that. I just think what is right now is get top 4 this season, top 3, top 4 this season, right? And then what you just said is right. Just maintain it, go out and spend, and then spend it on the correct players, right? Players who are going to fit in our system, right? Like, remember when I told you at the start of the season, I said January, we need to get players to get into the top 4. Now I'm starting to realise right now, do we even need players to even get into the top 4? Do we even need players to get into the top 4?
What did I say?
But however, what if we lose someone like a Jesus? What if we lose to someone like Thomas Partey? What if we lose someone like that? Then we need to go and get players in January.
Because yeah, but Luca, like the thing is you're going on about Partey, right? We've already lost Partey this season. Hang on a minute, right? First of all, like, we've lost Partey before, and we've managed to cope with it very well, right? Very well, right? So, yes, though our squad depth is not as good, right? And it's not as good as City's, and that's why it will be our downfall at this moment in time, right? Would it stop us getting top 4? I don't think it would, right? Because we're still managing to get results despite having injuries. Zinchenko's been injured for how long now? Smith Rowe's been out for so long, and we've forgotten about him, right? Everyone's forgotten about Smith Rowe, right? But why is that? Because we're still playing well without him, right? We've still got Smith Rowe to come out. We've still got Zinchenko to come back, right? And that's before considering that. And you put those 2 players on the pitch, right? We improve even more, right? So, like, as much as we've got no squad depth, we're still like
but how long is it going to last?
Arteta is managing the problem
after the World Cup. I understand where you're coming from. Yes.
Yeah, but you could say that for every team, though.
Yeah, every team could have an effect.
You could say that for every team. So, like, it's the same. It's all the same boat. So
the only team who's going to have an advantage is Man City because Haaland.
Well, anyway, Anthony, how you, mate? I hope you're doing well.
I'm not too bad. You right, Stephen? Right, Luca? Right, Manny?
All good. Thanks, Anthony.
Right, I'm just going to go through the comments and I'll get everyone else's point. Yeah, only to go, not a lot. Go even take the detail seriously to after. Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm having a gloating moment. You know what I mean? Did I just hear you say Pep will not do a better job? I've said, right, with the team we've got, right, 9 wins, 1 defeat, right? Not many managers you'll find would do a better job than what we've done right now, right? It's not me saying Pep is not as good as Arteta. Let me get this straight. That's not saying Pep is worse than Arteta. That's me just saying he's done a job that Pep could match, but would he do better? Well, he'd have to go beat Man United as well and make it 10 wins out of 10. Right? And not many managers can go and do that right now. He's got Man City. Man City should be walking all over every single team. They got spanked by Liverpool, who have been shit the whole entire season, who we managed to spank 3-2. Right? Yet everyone's supposed to be thinking that they were going to go spank them, and they didn't. Right? We're talking about Newcastle. They went up there and got a draw only. Right? So, like, and that's supposed to be with the best team in the league. That's what I'm saying. Like, with this team, right, will he do a better job than what we've done right now? Debatable. Very debatable. Very debatable. Right? Yeah, look, maybe I'm going mad, but there you go. They all said I'm mentally insane anyway. Yeah, he finally agrees with you, Luca, for once. Big up, Paul. Hope you're doing well. We're walking on eggshells at the moment. Waiting for injuries. And Colonel Ward still thinking Klopp's clear of Pep.
I disagree.
Has revolved his whole attack around one player. Master his own downfall. Klopp still has
Pep's better than Jurgen Klopp. They're both good, right? They're both good as each other.
I'm not getting into that debate. That's got nothing to do with Arsenal. So Anthony, before I'll ask you, would another manager in world football do a better job than what Arteta's done so far?
No, they wouldn't. And the reason being is because you got to think that Arsenal team. How many players are Arteta's players? So with Arteta wanting these players and signing these players at Arsenal, Arteta is the only one that can manage them. I mean, look how hard it was with him to manage Granit Xhaka. I mean, it took him a while to get through to him. But in the end, he's listened to Arteta. It's taken a while, but let's not forget, he must have listened to him somewhere down the line because, to be honest with you, Granit Xhaka, he's been incredible this season and a part of Spurs' the last 10 games of the last season as well.
Between him and Martinelli for player of the season so far.
Yeah, super. Yeah, I agree with that.
That and Saliba.
Yeah, and Saliba. Yeah, Saliba's good. Even though that's a Unai Emery buy, but he's come back, and I think Arteta did the right job with him.
But as much as he's a Emery buy, it was Arteta who gave him the second loan to Marseille. It's then him that brought him into the team. It's him who brought it into the system. So as much as he was on an Emery buy, it was more Arteta that's influenced his whole career at Arsenal.
That's right.
This is look. And by the way, you're talking. This is someone talking who fucking hates Arteta, who doesn't like him. Let me get it straight.
But you can't fault what he's done, Stephen. You can't fault Arteta what he's done. Listen, I think we haven't got a problem getting top 4. That's a fact. But Arsenal will get top 4 this season. I understand what Luca was saying. With the likes of the players what Man City have got to compare to what we've got. Yeah. We do need a few more players.
That's why I said we're not going to win the league. That's why I said we're not going to win the league.
And in January, I think the important rule we need to get, 2 important rules we need to get, is a DM and a striker. Because
Anthony,
it proves now that with Tommy Yasu, he can play left back as well as Fiorentini and Shevchenko.
Yeah.
So all our defenders there, they can do an all job along that back 4. So we've got really nothing technically to worry about that back 4.
To be fair, Anthony, as much as like I hear what you're saying with January, for me it has to be if the right quality of player comes about, because if we get Champions League but we've already spent some of our money in January on players that will only get to Europa League level, for example, and they won't push up to the Champions League, right? We're going to miss out on the quality signs that we could have saved our money for and got a big name in, right? That is Champions League top quality. If you know what I mean.
there is a player lurking around in the DM area who Arteta's interested in, and he plays for Real Betis. That's Rodriguez, the DM, the Argentinian, and apparently his contract is coming up. And he doesn't want to resign. He don't want to play for Real Betis anymore. He wants to have a chance of playing English football. So I feel that if we've got somewhere like the likes of him, Argentinian international, he's a good DM. He's a sort of DM that we're crying out for. He's 6'2". He gets stuck. He gets stuck in. He's not afraid to make a tackle. His passing's good. He's captain material. So it's like if there was 5 boxes, I guarantee you he would tick at least 4 out of those 5 boxes. That is the sort of player that we want.
That's exactly as well. The right players are out there for the right money.
Exactly. So I believe now, because of the contract, his contract, it can go anywhere. I think they said they're going to set a bid of around about anywhere between 18 to 20 million to get him.
That's cheap.
So this is what I'm saying, all to do with his contract, because he doesn't want to sign another contract with the club.
And to be fair, the way it's going, and I get your point on this, I'm not going to moan about another Arteta signing.
No,
because
I wouldn't.
Like I've been moaning about. I'm moaning about Vieira. I'm moaning about Vieira and thinking that's it. We're not getting another midfielder. Now all of a sudden we're 10 games in and we're fucking 4 points clear.
But depending on who the signing is.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, it could be someone I've never heard of. I never heard of Tomiyasu. I never heard of Fabio Vieira, but they seem to fit in
someone
well
like
to the system.
if it's someone from Modric, then I'm not keen on it.
Oh, Luca, seriously? Have you watched Modric?
Some games, yeah.
How many?
2 or 3.
How can you make a judgment on a player 2-3 games?
He's not good enough. We need a winger that's going to improve.
No, how can you make it? No. How can you make a judgment on a player when you see 2 games?
Because
this is what you did with Fabio Vieira. This is what you did with Tomiyasu. And guess what? We're now 9 points clear. We're now 4 points clear. Right, 9 games won, 1 defeat, and they both played a significant role in it.
For now,
so he proved you wrong straight away.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't realise, with that signing Vieira we've actually signed, he can play anywhere across that midfield.
He can.
So it's not just in the open guard position. He can play. He can play if Saka's out injured. He can go in and play there.
Yeah.
Or even Martinelli. I mean, obviously, it's like what Stephen said. We've got Smith Rowe. He's out injured. He's out injured majority of the season now.
Martinelli's out injured as well.
Yeah, so there we go. But
I want to get Manny's thoughts on this. What's your thoughts on on the situation? Because we've moved on a bit to transfers now. But what's your take on this? I mean, I've always said that we feel comfortable getting top 4 without having to spend unless with the right players available. Right? What do you think? What's your take on all this?
Stephen, I think you might know my take. We had this discussion on Melina's stream where I made it very clear
but I'm going to ask anyway.
And I will say it so that Anthony can hear it, and because he wasn't there. I've said it very clearly, and I'm going to say it again. I do not like this penny-wise, pound-foolish sort of attitude, which will cost us, because we've seen it before. Last season, we talk about the run that Arteta's having now. Last season, we had an amazing run where we recovered from losing our first 3 games and not even scoring a single damn goal to getting ourselves into a position where we could qualify for the Champions League. We had games in hand as well, and it was ours for the taking. But instead of doing the sensible thing and we only had to buy 1 player, a midfielder who could be good cover for us.
Yeah.
I wasn't suggesting that we would go out and do a Nottingham Forest and buy an entire squad of 22 players. Far from it, and I'm not going to suggest that now, because that is what will bring Forest down back to the Championship because of the way things have been done. They've sacked their recruitment head. They should have sacked Steve Cooper, but he lives to fight another day. I don't care. But we could have brought Bruno Guimaraes. He would have been the type of person who would have lent a lot of solidity to our midfield and made sure that we weren't overrun in midfield. Instead, we dilly-dallied, and he said, no, I'm going to Newcastle. And guess who scored against us to effectively derail our Champions League campaign with 1 game to go? A certain Guimaraes. Yeah. So because because the club thought they were smart enough to say we don't need to sign any players, we're going to trim the wage bill and not spend any money on players. That attitude cost us the extra money and the clout that we would have had by being a Champions League team and attracting even better players. I'm not saying that I'm not happy with Jesus and Zinchenko, far from it. And the players some of the players who come in this season have proved their worth, as you've said. But you can agree that it would have made a big difference if we had Champions League football. And in
Manny,
addition, let's take a look at the part. Go ahead.
I've got to. So, by the way, I did say last year we needed a midfielder. We needed at least someone on loan. I said that. I said like we needed either Ronaldo or Gooners. I've said
Ronaldo.
Like, it's not me that went, oh, we don't need anyone. The only reason I'm saying it now is because of the how well we are playing and the position we are in at the minute, right? That's why I'm saying, do we actually need to go in the transfer market when we could be spending our money on top quality once we're in the Champions League? Right?
Yes, we do. And go ahead.
That's my take on it. My take on it is that if there's the right players there, right, for the right price, I don't feel like in our main aim, which is to get top 4 in the end. The aim was this season to get top 4, right? And in terms of that, in a minute, that's why I've said that I don't feel that we need so much investment in January unless the right player is there for the right money, which is going to be difficult after a World Cup. And it's in January.
I take your point, but I will also say this. We had a good run last season as well. We were expecting to get into the Champions League, and everyone was singing the song. And then when it all fell apart, we finished 5th. A lot of people were saying, "Well, we didn't expect to get top 4 anyway."
You would change the lyrics.
Exactly, and you also saw that with Thomas Partey out of the team against Manchester United, we struggled. We were outsmarted tactically by Ten Hag, who sort of sucked us into playing the high line. And, Eriksen was controlling everything from the back. We got caught twice on the counter, and we ended up losing. So you can see, if we have a situation where Partey is injured, who can we possibly have to replace him? El Neni is still out injured. Of course, Egypt aren't in the World Cup anyway. We can't trust Sambi Lokonga because he doesn't really have that imposing nature about him. So if we lose Partey again, and we could, and probably will lose him again, we will be up a gum tree. So it stands to reason, Stephen.
Take over. Take over for a minute.
Okay, I will. So I'm sorry what happened to you. So what I'm going to say to both of you, Anthony and Luca, is that it stands to reason that we do need to make sure that we strengthen strategically, at least get it in the right areas. Against Bodo Glimt, when we went to the Norwegian Arctic, we had 3 central defenders in the squad. An out-of-form Gabriel Magalhaes, Rob Holding, who has hardly been in the first team picture for quite some time now, and Saliba, who, despite his lack of experience, has been our best central defender this season. So can you imagine the situation we would have been in? And what if we had actually drawn that game against Bodo, making this upcoming PSV match a must-win? I'm sorry, but there is no way that I can abide with this idea that we don't need to strengthen and we can wait for the right person.
We do need to strengthen in January. And look, I can understand where your points is coming from, and we need to strengthen in January because don't get me wrong, we had a good transfer window, but we had 3 bid rejections from a guy who just signed a contract for Aston Villa, who wanted to show ambition for Villa, where Gerrard's is probably going to get sacked on the weekend. So, however, the only issue I had is that we didn't go out and get a central midfielder or a winger. That's why we're going to have to do that in January.
Exactly.
To finish what we need to do from deadline day. But will I trust this board? Because we've been in this situation before where we've been top of the league in previous years, like the Leicester season. Remember Petr Cech? We only signed Petr Cech, but didn't get an outfield player. We can't have that situation in January.
Luca, I'll make one point. That was a different system, different board. People don't exist at this club anymore. The people wanting you can't compare. You can't compare seasons when you had Ivan Gazidis, right, Chip Keswick, Dick Law, and those wankers at our club compared to what Josh Kroenke, Edu, and Vinay are doing with Arteta. You can't go back and have a go at our current board for something our previous board and owners have done. You
You
can't.
may have to give them credit for in some circumstances, but I still want the likes of Edu to leave because for me, why have they not done this in previous seasons? Yes, I can understand.
Oh my life!
Stephen, look. At the end of the
Trouble is,
day, I
trouble is that
understand.
you look at that. Look at the Europa League game, for instance. We come off a good win, right? Didn't we? We come off a good win against Tottenham. Then we had then we had Liverpool. Then we had Bodo Glimt, right? You got to think we were poor in that game in Bodo Glimt. Hence, that was why we were poor in the game against Leeds United, and we was poor. We were absolutely rubbish. But the good thing is that we can play rubbish in games like this and come out with a win. Right? That's the first
Exactly.
good thing. The second thing is like what Luca was saying and what Man is saying. We haven't really got the depth in our squad.
And
So
that's
if we
what
got the injuries from a striking point of view, from a midfield into the DM position, don't worry about defence because the defence is fine. We're playing 6 or 7 defenders this season, so that's fine. That's all right. That's not a problem. But let's have a look at our DM. If Part is out, who comes in? Lukonga. And then if Shaka, let's say he does something stupid, he gets a red card, he misses 3 games. Who then comes in? Elneny. But he's got to be fit as well for the game. I believe that Elneny, he's injured at this time being, isn't he? He's out injured at the minute. So obviously you've got Shaka and Party there doing the business, right? Then in that midfield, as I said, we got Smith Rowe out, right? Saka's been playing out on the wide right all the time. He's proved, even though he's scoring the goals, he's putting in a shift, but I can see him getting burnt out. And people then, further on down the line, we're
Right
going to
wing
be
is
on the
what we need.
streams. We're going to be on streams like this, and all we're going to be doing is slagging off Saka to a certain extent, and slagging off Arteta, saying, why hasn't he got a player? Why don't you rotate the
But then,
system?
to be fair, he could use Vieira in that situation.
Exactly, yeah, he can. Because Vieira, it's like I said, he can play all along
Yeah.
that midfield, so that's not a problem. But it's like what I said.
Huh.
Jesus is not scoring at the minute. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm glad we got him. He's a good player. I do rate him, but he's doing jobs up front. But the trouble is, though, the jobs he's doing up front, yeah, he doesn't seem to be have to do half those jobs. I feel his job is to get in that box and get on the end of the ball and score goals. That's his job. That's his job. That's his role. I said when he come to us, I said he will be able to score between 15 to 18 goals a season. This minute, how many goals he got?
For
What's he got now?
Anthony. Let me just check. I'll look it up.
What's he got?
And
5
I
goals in
said
10 games?
I said he's got to get over 20 goals. I
Well,
also said Jesus has got to get over 20 goals a season, right, to be good enough. Because we used to criticise Giroud for not doing that.
I know what you're saying, but trouble is, though, the way how Jesus is playing, he comes out the box to the midfield, and when he's got the ball, he tries to take it down players.
So
at
the moment, he's got 5 goals and he's got 4 assists already.
Right.
1 assist in the
he needs
Europa
another
League.
15 goals.
And if he gets an injury in the Europa League or in the league, and we got let's say if we're in the semi-final, we're coming up to a semi-final Europa League. If we dip down in the league and we're 4th, we're going to say this season.
To be
You know what I'm
fair,
saying?
though,
We've got to either win the Europa League or top 4 because we want Champions League football.
To be fair, though, and with Jesus, he can't do a lot if. He can't do a lot unless he has the midfield behind him. As much as he's got the movement as well, and the reason he gets so many assists is because he's movement. He gets himself good areas to be able to assist, which is something Nketiah don't do. And you can see it clearly. We get very isolated because of it, which means we struggle. But if we manage to get Smith Rowe and that back, then like you'll see his game improve tenfold. Like when he had Zinchenko there, and that the chances were nearly probably double than what we're doing right now.
I mean,
And don't
to be honest
forget,
with you,
Arsenal are heading into late October, early November, right?
World Cup,
November's never been a good time for Arsenal. We're playing Southampton next week away, which we're never good at. Right? February's never a good month either. So this is probably where Arsenal, you see whether we've changed or it's just the same old Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, let me get to more comments. Joanne's going 2-0 tomorrow. Your lack of ambition cost you last season. Iron signings in Jan. While Spurs improved with Kulusevski, Bentancur and got top 4 instead. Yeah, I hear you on that one. In my eyes, only 3 injuries cost you either Ramsdale, Partey or Jesus. I would add Saliba into that as well, mate, to be fair. Ramsdale gets your number 2 is well behind Ramsdale's level. Yeah, but then to be fair, like in the game where he had to prove himself in the Europa League, he proved himself very capable. So we'll have to. I'm not saying he's on Ramsdale's level, but he did do a good job. So
But I mean, the question I want to get at, Stephen, was obviously I do agree with what Manny and Luca were saying that we need to, get these players in January. My question is
I just don't feel
if we get these players in. Yeah, if we get these players in January, how much do you think Arteta would need to spend to obviously get these players? I mean, this is the
thing. This is the thing as well. Like you've got the World Cup, and then you've got January as well. Like prices already inflated in January, but to have a World Cup straight after, right? Buying anyone that's any good, right, and especially if they perform well and you work in their World Cup, they're gonna be extortionate, right? Whereas in the summer, you could probably get the same player and probably about 20 million less.
Yeah.
Like so, and then you can use that money to go spend on another player.
Yeah, and I mean, with Arsenal, we've never really done any good business in January, have we? Let's be honest. So,
Kim Kallstrom, remember that one?
yeah, the Sweden,
it turns up with a broken fucking back.
Yeah.
Never even
well, that was Wenger.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, like, don't let's not even go into that one. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm not feeling too good anyway. Right, I've got to ask everyone. I know we did a preview, but I've got to ask the predictions. Luca, what are you going with tomorrow?
2-1 Arsenal.
Manny?
2-1 Arsenal.
Anthony, what are you going for?
I was going to say 2-1 as well, but I might go slightly different. I'll go 3-1. We'll win by the odd 2 goals.
Oh, you're a dick. That's what I said.
All right, then.
He's not a dick. He's an Anthony.
He's an Anthony Dick, then.
Yeah. He knows, like Manny. He knows. And sometimes I call him a knob, but he's a lovable knob, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll finish it there. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the share button. Manny, where can I find you?
Yeah, you can find me on social media. I'm active on Twitter. Thangatherai1981 is my ID. That's my surname and my year of birth. You can also have a close connection with me on Instagram at Manny Thangatherai1981. That's my full name and my year of birth. And in addition to SFeatleyTV, big up to you, by the way, you can find me on other channels on YouTube, Del Boy Gunner TV, Oris Talks Football, Hanno's Coach Corner, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV. Yeah, a few people. Shout out as well to a Bournemouth fan channel, UTCIAD, up the cherries in all departments. Great people, terrific content. Just moving about here and there, wherever I feel welcome, say what I want to say, let the chips fall where they may. Peace, everyone. Have a good night. And I am out.
Anthony, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on my social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My name is Anthony Herbert. You can also find me on Gunners from all corners on Friday. That's on Match Show. That's on Football United TV. We do a show every Friday night at 9 o'clock. This looks like a good show there for Friday. It does. It really does. But I'll speak to some people, if they want to come on as well. But yeah, I've been on that. I've been recently on Sony Cool Gunner TV as well. So I've been on his show as well. So that's good. I'll be on there a couple of times maybe, throughout the week. And also you can find me on Stephen Featley's SFeatleyTV. But make sure you like, subscribe, and even if you can, just make a small donation or whatever you can afford. It's going to a good cause. Okay.
Wicked. Luke, where can I find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube, Luke at AFC. We are live in 10 minutes for the PSV match preview with Volsky. Yeah, catch me on YouTube, Luke at AFC. We're on the road to 2.5K. Follow me on Twitter, Martinelli AFC, and follow me on Instagram. So thank you very much for having me on.
No worries. Make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You can find me on SFeatley on both Instagram, Twitter, SFeatleyTV on Twitter. For if anyone wants to come on and have a debate, everyone's welcome. Right, we got Premier League content and Arsenal content, so there's opportunities for other fans to get on as well. And like Anthony said, please make a small donation, whatever you can, super chat, right, or becoming a member. As I said, it all goes to Children's Liver Disease Foundation, right? Which out the research, I wouldn't be here doing this stream for you guys. I wouldn't be here at all. So, and that continues to save lives every single day. So please, if you have anything spare that you can donate to, right, or can donate monthly to, please do so, because the memberships, they may be a little, but they mean so much. Please do go and do so. But yeah, we're going to be out of it. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe, and hit the join button as well. And we will see you soon. So we'll see you tomorrow actually for the watching. Until then, bye.